Very good, Mike.
All right, well, welcome everyone to the Awareness Task Force for the City of Salem Human Rights Commission. My name is Mike Waters and I'm the chair of this task force and a member of the commission. I live in Ward 7 and my pronouns are they and them. And I will pass it along to David.
Hello, my name is David Reinhold. I'm a resident of Polk County and my pronouns are he and him. And I'll pass it to Kathy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy Ostran-Funchen. I live in South Salem. My pronouns are she, her, and I'll pass it to Trikerico.
Hi, this is trikerico. I'm a resident of Ward 2, and my pronouns are they, them. I can't see who else is there, so I'm going to pass it to Gretchen.
You're in luck. I'm the last one. This is Gretchen, and I'm staff to the commission, and my pronouns are she and her.
Well, we have a relatively short agenda today, but did we have any public comment, Gretchen? I imagine we did not for this task force.
No.
Did everyone get a chance to take a look at the meeting minutes from last time? And if you did get a chance to look at the meeting minutes, I would entertain a motion to approve those, unless there's a glaring issue.
I'll move to approve. They look fine to me.
I'll second. This is trikerico.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Yeah, no. Good deal. So our next topic is the urine review. This is something that Gretchen has drafted to be sort of our end of year communication out from the Human Rights Commission. Really appreciated the draft, Gretchen. And it's really cool to see all the things that the commission has done in the last year and accomplished quite a lot during a pretty tumultuous year while we were all separated virtually. So really good to see. I wondered if, I know that Gretchen, you just got that out a little bit before 5, but if folks had a chance to look at that, if there was any thoughts or feedback around the draft, does it include sort of the right things, and is there anything missing, that kind of thing? Well, I can go while you all are reading. I really liked it. I think it could probably use a bit of a short 2-sentence intro, just to give it context that these are the activities of the commission and you know that they undertook this year. And I know you have some missing data as well. The only other thing I wondered about was whether we wanted to play with the order of things at all. Particularly for me, I thought that the policy recommendation, the student survey, and the equity asks were all things that I liked seeing higher in the draft, if that makes sense, because of their significance. I thought they were kind of some of the most meaningful things that we had done in the year, and the most community focused, I suppose. And then beyond that, I didn't have any other thoughts, but I wondered if you all had any thoughts.
This is trikerico. I don't know if this is a silly ask, but should we mention the Chapter 97 review? I know that we literally just finished that, but we did technically do the review this year.
Yeah, that's actually in there under policy recommendations, which was something that I suggested we move up. And it says the commission recommended that city council review the city human rights municipal code and add housing status, remove gendered language, define the term sexual orientation, and remove references to da 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 da. It kind of describes what we did.
Okay, thank you.
My thought was we would hold publishing until after the December 8th meeting, just to confirm that the commission actually does it. It's predictable that would pass, but I thought we were talking about posting around December 10th, which is that International Human Rights Day. So I thought that would work well because we can wait and confirm the passage first.
How lovely. I almost wonder if that's worth being in the introduction.
Good idea.
Today is Human Rights Day. The city of Salem has a Human Rights Commission, and here are the things that the commission did in the last year. I think would be a really lovely way to introduce that.
Thank you. I was actually wondering how you saw this. Like, is this a letter? Is it like a couple of intro lines, like just what you said, and then the bullets, and then the links at the bottom about here's how to apply? I wasn't sure.
That's kind of how I saw it. A letter might be a bit formal for the mechanism that it's going out on.
Great.
And I know you have a template. Now, if you're doing Human Rights Day, maybe you could even find a graphic that goes at the top that makes it kind of ties it together. But what did other people think? I feel like I'm dominating tonight. It's my normal personality, though, as you know.
I pictured it being a list of bullets, similar to the updates that you send out, Gretchen, on the homelessness update, where it's kind of a bullets of activities and not so much a letter. And I really like Mike's idea of reordering it, because honestly, the first three are not the most recent nor the biggest things that the commission's been working on. And so I would be okay moving those down and moving some of the other things up, I think, to emphasize them. Yeah.
Great.
Also, I'm wondering, you said including links, you said just to apply to join the commission, yeah?
Well, I wondered, if we would hyperlink that here's how to apply, and then like here's where to find our information to link our webpage.
Well, I was also wondering if we could link like the actual things that are in there. So I know we probably, we would want to do everything.
The survey, though.
Yeah, like the survey stuff. We could maybe put the poster for Trans Day of Remembrance if we really wanted to. That could be confusing because it had a
We could
link on
link
it.
to the page, though, that
Yeah.
for it. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like the equity asks is a pretty big list. And I don't want to put that all in here. I want this to just be like, here's the highlight. And then if people wanted to, I think each of these could have some additional links. So if they wanted to look more into it, they could.
Mm-hmm. Like for more information, click here kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe for those that you kind of already have something online for.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to make more work for you, Gretchen, of trying to come up with links for everything. But the things that we already have stuff readily available, I think could be added in.
Great. Happy to. Good idea.
It's a great idea.
One other suggestion I had in looking through it, specific to the equity lens, I think what the information that's there is fine, but is there something we can add about who it was intended to be used by, and is it actively being used? Because it kind of describes that there is one and what it is, but not what about it. I don't know if it's actively being used by people of the city.
Yeah, it is. I could say that. Thank you. That's a really good point. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, there's a pretty good intro on it that kind of talks about that. And it is being used. I think that's a really good point, Kathy, that we didn't just do this thing and throw it at people. It's actually being implemented. So I really like that addition.
Yeah, honestly, it was kind of fun to put together, and I wondered if this could be an annual tradition.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
I like that a lot.
Me too.
I think you might get new members from it, really, because when people see the variety of things that the, sorry, always does this. When people see the variety of things the commission does, it can maybe pique their interest.
I think it would be cool to do it every year, and then we could even archive the previous years, and we could just have like a whole, archive of these are the things that we do. These are the things that we've done. I think that's really cool to show.
Well, one of the things I regret is not keeping this one document up to date that my predecessor did. You might remember when you all went through orientation to become a commissioner, you received that historical document that describes what the commission has done since the 1960s.
Yeah.
I regret I've not updated that. And so this would be a wonderful resource to go back and update. And I wish that I had similar notes from past years that I've been on staff to be able to do that. But it would be lovely to at some point go back and update that document. And this would be a great way to do it.
It's excellent.
Yeah, because we date back to the mid-60s. And so it's fun to look back and see what the commission had worked on and see the topics that vary and the topics that stay the same.
One other, I guess, recommendation or suggestion is that instead of calling it the student survey, should it refer to it as a discrimination survey?
Yeah, good point.
I mean, it almost sounds like we were surveying students, and
it's really a community survey.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but like community discrimination survey or something like that would
There you
be
go.
really great. I agree.
That's a good point. We've nicknamed it the student survey, but that's not, yeah. Community discrimination survey.
And that's the one that I would definitely like to see a link for, because there's so much rich content there, and the blurb doesn't quite get to that. But a link to the results would. Do we have any other thoughts, comments? Well, at the broader, hey, bud. Hey. At the broader Human Rights Commission meeting, I can talk about this year in review, that we're planning to publish it. And remember that we talked at last meeting about getting the commissioners added onto the list as well. So that can be a way that we can remind them that they're going to get this email. And I love doing it on the 10th. I think that's the perfect day to do it. Well, seeing no other thoughts, that leads us to our communication plan development. Last time we had talked about, Gretchen had pulled together some great kind of milestones throughout the year. I think January is, of course, MLK Day. And was there something else in January? Trying to remember where that email was.
I can think of, and I'm always curious, I'm always aware of the offerings by Willamette University and by the Salem Kaiser NAACP. I don't know if there's any additional things to be conscious of.
it seems like a great January topic would be that kind of a roundup of what's going on around MLK Day that's open to the public. So that would include Willamette things and NAACP things, and maybe Western does a thing, I would guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll check. Good point.
It seems like though there was another. Oh no, it was MLK. When I look back at I found the note. I think MLK was the one we had for January. We did the 101s last year and we had pretty low, we did them earlier in the year and we had pretty low participation. Is that something that's worth trying to resurrect or do in a different way, do you think? Early in the year? That seems like an early year activity.
I could see that transitioning to some kind of intro for the Safe Spaces project. So rather than trying to get people to come to us, we could offer that as like a introductory meeting, maybe pared down a bit when we go to like interact with businesses and stuff.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because it's so nicely done, it would be a shame not to use it again. So maybe we can adapt that a little.
I mean, another cool idea would be to have an HRC 101 video, something short that could be used for like safe spaces. It could be used for outreach on a regular basis. You'd want to make it pretty, when you do video, you want to make it pretty as timeless as you can. Because you don't want to reinvent the wheel all the time, but there might be some value in thinking through that kind of thing.
I was thinking the same thing, Mike.
We could easily also host that video on the webpage. Like we have, if you visited the webpage lately, we have the video from Ryan that helps communicate the resource of the commission from the standpoint of people with disabilities. We could easily add a video that communicates it with a broader perspective.
Yeah, I think that would be good, especially if we kept it really short because people's attention spans is kind of limited.
It might get a little bit more play than our 101 events, which was a time commitment, right? What were they, a half hour? They
were a half hour, and it involved having our chair and our vice chair and staff. And yeah. So, I mean, a video, it is nice because people can view it at their own timeline.
So that might be a project to consider kind of early in the year. Well, and we have one more planning meeting, don't we, this year?
We do. We're scheduled for December 22nd.
That's right. Now that's LGBTQIA. We decided to go ahead and keep that meeting. That's a topic for us to decide if we, I'm available the 22nd. So I'd be happy to keep that meeting, but so we could talk a little bit more at that meeting, maybe about what an HRC 101 video looks like. And I like the idea of having that resource regardless of the timing when we can release it, because once you have it, you can release it periodically and in different places and formats and things.
And if people just happen to come across it on the web, then it's a bonus. Yeah.
I'm noticing, Gretchen, that I have a list of ideas for communication plan development from an email from September. And then I think at the September meeting, I think we added a few more. And what I wondered is if there's a way that you could maybe comb the minutes and this email and maybe for our final meeting this year, we could just look at the month by month. Just so that it's in one spot, because like I said, I'm looking in this one email, and then I know we added some others at that September meeting. What do you think?
Oh, of course I could. I have a quick question about what you're saying. Are the additional ideas in the September minutes, or are they in the email?
They're probably in the September minutes, because you
Right.
emailed us on 9/17 with, well, did you email us? You emailed me and Kelly, Kelly B.
Mhm.
I can't pronounce her name. You emailed Kelly B and I with some ideas, and I brought those forward to the group at that September meeting. And then we added to it some recognitions that we knew about.
I'm looking at the September 22nd minutes, and it says commissioners suggested adding Latin Heritage Month, Women's Equality Day, Women's
There you
History
go.
Month, Indigenous Peoples Day, and some sort of an Abilities Day or month that we were going to talk to Commissioner Gallagher about.
There you go.
So yeah, that's a September 22nd meeting.
Thank you. I'd be happy to. And then that can be on the December 22nd agenda, the update to the communications plan. Yes.
Great. I think that will be really valuable, and just very, it's really great that this year we got all these communication structures in place so that we can really have a plan. That feels good. That feels really good. We got the email done this year. Yeah. And when I say we, Gretchen did it all, but
No. You all shaped it and had the creation and the idea. It's wonderful. I'm learning a ton about how to approach communications from each of you.
Wonderful. Is there anything else we want to touch on for communication plan development? So we'll do a little more discussion of that next time. Hearing none. Let's see what our next agenda item is. Getting the word out within the unsheltered communities was our next agenda item, and we talked a little bit last time, and it's in our minutes what we talked about potentially posting information on base camp. That was kind of the only thing that was an action item. I think we spent most of the discussion last time sort of, I won't say swirling, but just wondering what is the best way to reach this community. And we've heard from them loud and clear that they don't want another resource. they're maybe resourced out. I think that a great opportunity we have to reach out directly to the community is around what happens with our chapter 97 recommendation. I think it's pretty early. I don't think we should reach out to the community until we've actually accomplished something for the community, but that to me feels like a natural way to reach out that shows them that we heard them, that we're taking action to improve their treatment within the city of Salem. But I really would love to hear from all of you, and Gretchen, if you've gotten any more insight in the last month since our last meeting about this unsheltered outreach.
So I'm kind of thinking about when I first came on, Gretchen was talking about potential additional sites for micro shelter communities. I wonder if we could partner with that or just time it so that we have kind of a campaign about like raising awareness about the difficulties that our unsheltered neighbors face, and then B, like that bias line. So when people witness an unsheltered person being treated unfairly or even being the victim of a crime, they know what to do about it. Because I don't like putting the onus on the unsheltered folks who are receiving that poor treatment to be the ones to call in. Yes, that'd be great. But realistically, if they're unsheltered and experiencing a crime or bias incident, they probably don't really have the resources, time, energy, et cetera, to make that report. So it's kind of like that see something, say something campaign we see, where it's like, let's campaign to make our city safe for everyone kind of thing. I don't know. That was what came to mind when you were talking, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. Is the thing that we need to do to reach out to the unsheltered community to let them know about our resource because they don't know about our resource? Or is the thing that we need to do to educate the broader community about the issues that the unsheltered face? Because I think with the former, again, I just keep hearing the survey results in my head saying, yeah, we're not looking for another place to call.
Exactly.
So maybe I think you're making a great point, Trikerico. I think there's some work that we could do maybe as a commission around educating the broader community about this community and how everybody who lives in the city of Salem should be treated with dignity and respect.
So
But
go ahead, Kathy,
I
please.
was gonna say, but is there room maybe to do a little bit of both? Reach out to the
Yeah.
broader community and educate for sure. I think that's very important. But also communicate somehow to the unsheltered community about what we're doing, and that, those who did complete the survey, we heard them, and we're doing something about it. And I think that when our recommendations do get to city council, I mean, I'm assuming there will be some sharing of that as well, so that they can track that if they want to. I know some of the advocate groups definitely will be keeping their eye on that as it moves, if it moves forward.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I do get a regular opportunity as I interface with people who work with people who are unsheltered to mention our resource. And when I hear something that relates to bias or discrimination, I'm quick to say, hey, we want to hear about that at the Human Rights Commission and jump in and help. And also agree that if and when the council takes up the recommendation and makes the edits to Chapter 97, that's a great logical point to report back to providers, advocates, and people who are unsheltered to update them on that change. Yeah. And what that would look like and mean and everything. David, the other 3 people in this task force also are on a task force that's looking at changes to Chapter 97. And it's occurring to me that you might not know that the meeting 2 nights ago that had these 3 folks talked about recommending to the Human Rights Commission that Chapter 97 be amended to include housing status as an identity that would be like a protected status. So a person would not receive discrimination based on housing status would not be appropriate. And so that's underneath what we're talking about. It occurred to me, I don't think we explained all of that. Maybe we did. I'm sorry if I'm duplicating information.
You haven't, well, I knew what you're talking about.
Great.
Yeah.
That'll be on the commission's December 8th agenda. Go ahead, David, sorry.
Oh, and I was saying, I agreed with what everyone's been saying. I've been kind of quiet. I'm half asleep, but I've been agreeing with what everyone's been saying. Sorry.
Oh, these evening meetings after a long day, isn't it?
In the health insurance world right now, it's open enrollment season for healthcare.
Oh, yes.
So- Yeah, very long hours right now, so sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No worries at all. So it seems like we are kind of at a place with unsheltered where probably our communication is going to be a little bit reliant on what happens in the next few months with the recommendation that we're going to move forward at HRC, which I think is pretty likely to pass, given that it's been sort of a background discussion for a while. But then, how that gets responded to, we don't know, and we won't know for some time. So perhaps we want to just keep this as an agenda item, but knowing that we may not be doing any immediate outreach or communication. Does that sound right? Or I should say, does that sound comfortable? Because there's no right or wrong, of course. Well, anything else that we want to dive into on the unsheltered today? Well, sorry, Kathy, you started to say something.
No, I don't think so. I think what you said previously makes sense. I'm comfortable with that, but at the same time, I think if any of us have any thoughts about what an education plan to the greater community looks like, I think that's something we can still be thinking about, even if it may not be launched
Yeah,
in the immediate future.
That's a great idea. And maybe that's something that we can tackle sooner than the other communication. So I think we should probably keep it as a standing agenda item for now so that we keep at it, and maybe between now and later this month, really meeting, think about what a communication campaign to the broader community might look like. I think that's a great call out, Kathy. This is our last agenda item for today, and I think we've accomplished a good amount, even though it was a kind of a short meeting. But are there any member remarks or announcements? Hearing none, I think we can go ahead and adjourn. We'll be back very shortly because it's December 22nd. And of course, I'll see you all on Wednesday at the Human Rights Commission meeting. I'm still used to it being on Tuesdays. I can't get that out of my head.
Me too. I relate.
All right, great. Well, we'll see you all next Wednesday, and then again in a few weeks for this meeting again. And just thank you. Always good to see your faces and hear you on the phone.